MAGA woke now. So I see a lot of left wing channels talking about how the right wing effed around and they're finding out now with what Elon Musk is doing and with Trump siding with Elon Musk over his own voters. And listen, man, I just had a talk with a soft MAGA. I don't think this guy is like full on MAGA, but he's definitely on that side of things. And let's just say he's a client, and I inquired about, what kind of work he does. And he mentioned the field that he was in, and then he started saying some positive things about how happy, that's the exact word I want to use, but basically brighter days are ahead type of rhetoric, referencing his industry, but clearly he was saying brighter days are ahead based on, Trump winning the election. He didn't say that, but it was obvious, right? Because he's talking about, I mean, he went as far as to say, ever since, and he gave he gave the date that Trump's going to get inaugurated, right? So he referenced that as like, that's when things are going to really change. So for those of you left-wing folks watching left-wing media, gassing you up as usual, talking about how MAGA civil war and, and then Cenk going around talking about, they're revolting and blah, 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 blah. Let me tell you what's really happening, right? This is a normal person who is not super online every day on Twitter or whatever. Certainly not watching the left wing channels that you guys are watching that's telling you MAGA civil war, blah, 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 which is great for clicks, of course. So this is a regular guy who shared with me that he used to be a Democrat. A lot of this is going to sound very familiar. You've heard stories like this. So the guy used to be a Democrat. I would say he's older. He's, I don't know, maybe, could be anywhere from upper 40s to lower 50s in age. And used to be a Democrat. Didn't say it explicitly, but clearly voted for Trump. Really likes Kennedy, for sure. So I learned some interesting things from this conversation. And one of the things, I'll start with something on a positive level. Hey, what's up, Waki and Pajit? So one of the positive things that I will start with is that this guy, as a normal guy, not a guy online all the time, he genuinely seems to have a good heart. He genuinely is concerned about corruption. He genuinely wants corruption to end. He recognizes the problems with our government. At least he thinks so. Because think about it, he doesn't have a reason to lie to me, right? People say all kind of stuff online. This is someone in the real world talking to me, and we're talking, it's a private conversation, right? So, and the fact that he's saying what he was saying means he felt comfortable enough to say these things to me. So I would regard him as being truthful with me. I'm usually a pretty good judge of character, so I think I was getting the real deal. So again, people say all kind of stuff online. Here's a real guy in the real world, former Democrat, now Trump supporter, loves Kennedy, really excited in this moment. This is a conversation I had today. In this moment, really excited about what's to come in terms of getting corruption out of government. This is his perspective, right? He feels that we're going to get corruption out of the government. He, like myself, is concerned about terms. He wants term limits. I want term limits. He hates the fact that people are, it's like a career for a lot of these politicians, right? They just staying in office for the rest of their life, and they're not serving the American people. So that's number one. I'll start with the positive thing. Seems like a guy with a good heart who wants better for the country, who wants better for regular people. But man, oh man, is he misguided. So moving on from that, one of the things that I definitely recognized, I'm good, Wacky. Environmental Coffee House, good to see you. Congratulations. Corruption is moving right, exactly. So one of the things that I noticed from the conversation overall is he didn't really inform me of anything. Like he kept bringing up things that I was aware of. So it's not like, I'm watching mainstream media and I don't see what's really going on. And, he's watching better sources that's telling him the inside scoop and he's like revealing things to me. I think in his mind, he probably thought he was telling me things that I didn't know and I didn't realize like how bad things were. But just about everything he brought up, I was aware of, but he actually wasn't, which is really bizarre. So he's bringing up something to me to tell me about something that he himself doesn't really know anything about. He knows to the extent of talking points, and I asked him about what he listens to in the end. I think you won't be surprised. But anyway, he knows enough to know about the talking points, but he doesn't have the context of the things he's talking about. So he's listening to sources that are giving him spin, which is ironically, he correctly identifies that you get a lot of this in mainstream media. And this is what I tell you, this is classic American politics, right? You identify the bias in mainstream media. You identify how, they tell you one side and not the other. And then you get so frustrated with this that you run right into the arms of someone who's even more biased, even more dishonest, right? So this is a guy concerned about corruption, concerned about the media being biased, but now he's consuming even more biased media. And that biased media is giving him even less information, right? Right. Mainstream media was, I'm sure, telling him a lot more information about whatever they're talking about. But because they were dishonest about certain things or they didn't tell the full story into certain things, he turned his back and ran right into the arms of something that's even worse. So let me give you a specific example. So that the so-called MAGA civil war that's going on. Had no idea about the details of what's happening with MAGA. He heard like snippets, but every time I tried to dive into the thing that he was bringing up, so he's bringing it up to me, right? I'm from Jamaica, Wakil. So every time he brought up something, I would be aware of whatever he's talking about, but understand the other perspectives. So, for example, the H1 B visas, whatever that's going on right now. So I told him, do you recognize that basically Trump had one position on this years ago, which his voters supported? And that position was on the opposite of where Elon is at. And then Elon donated millions of dollars to Trump. And now all of a sudden, Trump is siding with Elon Musk. And then I talked to him about like why Elon would want more H-1B visas. I talked about the exploitation of workers. And he was like, oh, I never heard about that. He never said anything about exploiting workers. And it's like, think about that statement. I mean, does he expect Elon Musk to be like, yes, I want to exploit workers? Like, he's not going to say that, dude. I'm trying to let him know, like, this is the reason why. And I even shared with him a personal experience. So I've personally experienced why they love to bring in people from foreign countries, talking about they don't have enough people here. But that's not what it is, man. I'll share this with you. I once worked for a company, a small company, and the CEO loved to bring in people on visas. And what he was doing is he would bring them in, pay them like crap. He would treat them like garbage, right? So he's saving a ton of money, maximizing his profit. So basically cheap labor. And then he has them like indentured servants, right? Because they had to take all of the abuse and whatever little money that they're getting because he's the reason that they're in the country, right? If they don't like it, they will be sent back to India, right? So you got people like me in this country, highly qualified. I mean, fortunately, I got that job, and who knows? Maybe I don't want to get into that, but I have had times in my career where I've had trouble finding work with all of my great resume and great skills. And I'll tell you what, a lot of the types of companies that I work for, they love to hire these foreign workers, right? They're not bringing in people from Mexico, right? That's not who's taking my job, my black job away, right? It's not from Mexico, right? It's not the people at the border. It's people that are coming in on visas. These are the people that have threatened my livelihood. And I don't know, man. Those times when I was out of work, when I was having trouble finding work, could it be that that was one of the reasons? Because let me tell you how bad it is. That company I'm talking about, it's even worse than I described. The CEO himself was from India. So even an Indian comes into this country, starts a business, successful business. People like Elon Musk and Trump would love to talk about a guy like this, right? Comes in with his skills, highly skilled guy, right? He wasn't just a money guy. I mean, he was actively involved in building the product, right? Not like Elon Musk that came with his money and bought Tesla, right? Tesla was already a company. It was already a thing before Elon Musk. He came in and used his checkbook. This guy is the brains behind his business, right? So smart guy. Came in, started a business. Great. Then what does he do? He goes and brings people from his own country that he can exploit and treat them like garbage. Let me be very specific about what I'm saying. He one time threw his phone at one of his employees. Another time, there was a big scandal where I don't know how the visas work, but I guess at a certain point, after you've worked for a certain amount of years, I guess you become a citizen or there's paths to citizenship or something. So at some point in time, some of these workers were able to actually leave. Then what would happen is this guy was going around finding out where they went, calling their new bosses and bad mouthing these workers. Think about the kind of person who would bring in people from their own country here, exploit them, treat them like garbage, pay them garbage, throw things at them. I mean, I remember it was probably like 40, 50 of us. This guy would get upset about something and he would bring almost the entire company, which was 95% Indians. I was one of the 3 or 4% of the company that was not from India. He brings them in the office, and it was like that skit from Seinfeld. I always used to think about that skit because I mean, I would be sitting. So I sat right in front of the CEO's office, right? And he would get upset. He starts yelling, and then he brings them all into his office, and his chair faced away from the door. So all I could see is his back and his head and everyone in front of him sitting in front of the desk. And you could hear yelling and you just see his head like bopping up and down and yelling and screaming at them. Right? So they come to this country, get treated like dirt, get paid dirt money. And then, as if that's not bad enough, when they finally are able to leave, this guy tracks them down and badmouths them. I mean, good people, man. Like these guys were good people, hard workers, very knowledgeable, you know, good character. And this is what someone from their own country did to them. And I can almost guarantee you that that guy is an Elon Musk fan. I'm sure he's a Trump fan, right? This is the kind of stuff that Elon Musk wants, right? Cheap labor. So I referenced this to this guy that I'm talking to, and he's like, Elon Musk never said anything about exploitation. I'm just like, dude, I didn't say dude, I was respectful to him, but I'm just, I'm like, what are you talking about, man? Do you not understand like what's going on? So I say to him, listen, I recognize and I agree with you that there's a lot of corruption in our government. I believe there's corruption in the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. I believe that you have these career politicians that have been in office for so long and they're not serving us. But I said to him, unfortunately, the solution is not to put the very same people who've been pulling the strings in the henhouse, right? Now these corrupt billionaires don't have to buy politicians. They are the politicians. Now they're in the White House to further rig the government against us. But he just completely rejected that. Didn't seem to be really aware of what was happening with these programs. So think about that. So Elon Musk can go and paint this thing as, oh, it's, there's not enough talent and Americans are just dumb. Think about it. He's talking to an America First audience, right? Americans are just too, not his exact words, right? Americans are just too dumb and, no one knows how to do anything. You got to go to other countries to get, the good talent. No, the talent is here, right? But if you're the kind of person who would become a billionaire in the first place, which means you're super, super aggressive at making money, right? Nothing is ever good enough for you. Becoming 100 millionaire wasn't good enough, right? Half a billion wasn't good enough. You only get to be a billionaire by being an absolute savage, right? That kind of person is not someone who is going to save us, because this guy genuinely believes that, Elon Musk and these guys are looking out for us and they're going to fix everything. And he thinks that Kennedy's going to do great things about healthcare and the pharmaceutical companies and all this kind of stuff. I mean, he have just completely bought everything that they've sold him. But again, this is why I keep saying this whole MAGA civil war it's nothing, right? This guy even admits it, that he's not paying that much attention, right? So all the stuff that you left-wingers are talking about and, oh, MAGA effed around and found out, there are millions and millions of other Americans just like this guy who are very happy with their vote. They feel like things are going great. He feels like the people that he mentioned names. He loves Kennedy. He loves Tulsi Gabbard, and he's like excited that these people are going to be in the government because they're the ones that are going to fix everything. Elon Musk is a genius. He's done all these great things. He loves Elon. He loves all these people, and all the stuff that you guys are watching in left wing media talking about, oh, this and Elon Musk getting these Fox News TV hosts and whatever. He loves it. This guy loves it. There's millions of Americans who love it. This is how the next 4 years is going to be. Yes, left-wing media is going to highlight the few people that will be like, whoa, wait a minute, this is not what I voted for. That's going to happen. But in my view, overwhelmingly, what you see with this person, that's what's going to be happening. They're not watching every little thing. It's not, you have to watch every little thing, but they're not really paying that much attention. So the little snippet they're getting are coming from spin doctors on the right who are going to, no matter how bad things get, they're going to explain it away and, oh, it's this and that. You just got to be patient and you don't understand how business work, right? They're going to feed all these lines. So every once in a while, when this guy decides to actually check in and see what's going on in the country, that's what he's going to hear. He's going to hear people spinning it, telling him everything's great. So there's never going to be a moment where it's going to be like, whoa, wait a minute, what happened? That's not happening, man. And then in terms of what media this person is consuming, I try to be very subtle in trying to get that out. So I posed it as that I was looking for recommendations. So I said to him, can you give me my knee, my leg is getting numb from this position I'm sitting in. I gotta end this. I can't even feel my toes right now. So I asked him, can you give me some recommendations on some objective media I said to him, mainstream media is so biased and blah, blah, blah. So give me some suggestions. So first, he just keeps saying podcasts, podcasts. You got to watch these podcasts because the mainstream media, they just give you, 5 minutes, whatever, whatever. But the podcast, you get to see somebody sitting down for 3 hours and you really get to know them and really, that's the real stuff. So that's his first thing. And I kept pressing him, you know, I said to him, hey man, if you were to pick just one source, right, for your news, like what do you think is a good one for me to listen to? He was unable to give me that, but he gave me some names. Joe Rogan, Lex Friedman, Tucker Carlson, and Hannity. I specifically asked him if I wanted to get a good grasp of what's happening in the country and to understand, the politics and everything. And this is what he told me. So for those of you who are thinking, oh, Joe Rogan is just a podcast and it's like an entertainment venue or something like that. People are just watching them for entertainment. I asked this guy for a good source for objective media to inform me about what's happening in the country. Joe Rogan, Lex Friedman, Hannity, and Tucker Carlson. Even though he specifically said Fox is not good. When he says mainstream media is no good, at least he was accurate enough to recognize that Fox News is mainstream media. It's the largest mainstream media news network. But he's not down with Fox. Oddly, he likes Tucker and Hannity, but not Fox. Right? Think about living in a country where millions of Americans think that a comedian podcast is a good source of understanding politics and what's happening in the country. So he wasn't even able to give me a single actual news source. It could be Newsmax, it could be AONN, nothing, not a single news source. He put the Joe Rogan podcast over even any of the right-wing media in terms of, when I say right-wing media, in terms of news media, right? So let's completely go away from any kind of journalism, even right-wing journalism, right? In favor of some dudes talking for 3 hours about aliens and, hey, look at this structure on Mars. Hey, man, I don't think that's a structure. I think that's an overlay graphic. No, no, no. Look at this. You can see it's like a man-made. No, 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 dude. Joe. That's an overlay. No, man. Look at it. It looks like a building. You think that's... Well, You think that's an arrow? Oh. The kids are using litter boxes guy. The guy who thought that Joe Biden had faked the State of the Union or something like that. And his own guest has to tell him, dude, Republicans were there. Republicans are not going to help Joe Biden fake the State of the Union. So it's impossible. You can't. This guy. I mean, I don't know. I don't think Fox News would even do something as bad as that. I don't know if Newsmax would do something as bad as that. But that's what you get from Joe Rogan. And this guy looks at that as a superior news source. So settle down, Beavis, to all the left wing media folks talking about MAGA civil war. This is not a civil war. It's not going to amount to anything. It'll be quickly forgotten. Trump and Elon will be quickly forgiven. None of this stuff matters one bit. Trump's going to do what Trump's going to do. Elon Musk going to do what Elon's going to do. And their followers are going to follow them to the pits of hell. So, while these left-wing guys are enjoying their little clickbait videos about MAGA civil war, come talk to me a month or two from now and update me on how the civil war is going. The big revolt. Right. Anyway, I'm going to sign off. Unsubscribe from TYT, and Anna Chanka's gone full MAGA. Hey, John, good to see you, man. All right, guys, I got a lot of work to do today. I'm working on a project here. I don't know if you can see over there. I'm building a light board. This is going to be something I can use on the channel as well, so I can do diagrams and things like that. I can draw things. So I'm looking forward to that, but I got to get it finished up. I'm cutting some quarter round pieces to hold the glass in, and then I think that might be it for now. And I can take off the clamps tomorrow morning, maybe. Anyway, let me get out of here. I got stuff to do. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your Sunday. And Happy New Year. Hey, Andrew. Damn it, I'm late for... Man, dude, I should, you... What do you do when someone is late for class all the time? Can I suspend you, or can I hold you back a grade? I don't know. I'll figure it out. But it's getting to the point where I'm gonna have to do something about Andrew, man. I mean, at a minimum, I gotta send you to the principal's office. At a minimum, right? All right, man. Happy Sunday and Happy New Year if I don't see you guys. Ciao.